إن الحمد لله نحمده حمدا كثيرا طيبا كما يحب كل محامد. هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى والدين الحق وبلغ رسالة وعد الأمانة ونصح الأمة وجاهد في الله حق جهاده وترك الأمة على البيضاء ليلها كهنهارها ولا يزغ عنها إلا هالك. صلى الله على نبينا وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. حياكم الله يا إخوة. Let's start. Let's continue with the Durus al-Muhammad of Shaykh bin Baz rahimahullah. So we've covered the introduction to Surah Al-Fatiha. Today, inshallah, we'll continue another surah from the Quran, Surah Al-Zalzala. Surah Al-Zalzala. طيب, in the Quran, obviously the Quran was revealed without the chapter heading, without the name of the surah. These names were given by the scholars. Now, when you look at the chapter heading, the name of the surahs, names are given either because the word is in the Quran, like Surah Baqarah. It's called Surah Baqarah because the word Baqarah is in the Quran, or Zalzala because the word Zalzala is there, or secondly, the name is given because of the story behind that. Surah Yusuf. Surah Yusuf is the life of Surah Yusuf. That's why it's called Surah Yusuf. Okay. Thirdly, a surah is given because the word is not there. Okay, it's the meaning that it carries. The Surah Ikhlas. The word Ikhlas is not there. Okay, it's not. It's talking about Tawheed of Allah. طيب. So these are the three reasons why name of a chapter, name of Quran was mentioned. Any of those reasons. Now, when we talk about the chapters in the Quran, chapters of the Quran has two nisbatan, two aspects. The first is mutakallim and mutakallam. I think I spoke this when I taught wasatiyah is there. Mutakallim, mutakallam. Mutakallim is one. The whole Quran speaker is one, Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? As for mutakallam, okay, it differs. As for mutakallim, it doesn't differ. It's only one speaker, Allah Azza wa Jal. Mutakallam, in aspect of mutakallam, what he spoke about, the Quran verses, they differ. The fada'il, the virtues, yatafawat, it differs. Okay? So example I give you now, inshallah, like one of the hadith of Ibn Mandur or Abu Mandur, Ubay bin Ka'ab radiallahu anhu. When Prophet said to Ubay bin Ka'ab, Ya Ubay, what is the greatest chapter or verse in the Quran? He said Ayatul Kursi. Okay? And Prophet congratulated him for that. So Ayatul Kursi is a verse in the Quran. If I get another verse, Tabbat yada abi lahabi wa tab. This is also a verse in the Quran, word of Allah. But are they same in terms of virtue? No, it's not. Okay? Because Ayatul Kursi is the greatest verse in the Quran. So as for mutakallam, yatafawat. The verses, yatafawat differs. Okay, so Allah talks about in the Quran, Surah Ayatul Kursi or Ikhlas. These are the verses, surahs relate to Allah's Tawheed. Okay? Surah Masad, Lahab, Tabbat yada abi lahabi wa tab. Also word of Allah, speech of Allah. But it's talking about who? Abu Talib. So in terms of virtue, it's not same as Ikhlas, it's not same as Ayatul Kursi. Okay? So when it comes to mutakallam, what is spoken about in the Quran, yatafawat. It differs. Okay? The virtue differs. And it's what Allah is speaking about. Okay? And this is Aqidah of Ahlul Sunnah. And Mu'tazila, they don't agree with that. And this is wrong. This is wrong because we have evidences in the hadith of Aisha that Abu Sayyid al-Khudri radiallahu anhu, he said to the companion, have you read one third of the Quran? They say, Ya Rasulullah, one third of the Quran, Qiyamul Layl, is too much. Verily, Ikhlas is one third of the Quran. Okay, one third of the Quran. If you get your reward of it. So, Ikhlas, that's the virtue of Ikhlas. But it's the same thing for Masad. Is there? No, it's not. So, in terms of mutakallam, it differs. Virtue differs in that aspect. طيب. Now, Today, inshallah, we'll talk about Surah Zalzala. طيب. Now I'm going to read first and then we translate. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها وقال الإنسان ما لها يومئذ تحدث أخبارها بأن ربك أوحى لها يومئذ يصدر الناس أشتاتا ليروا أعمالهم فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يره ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يره. طيب. إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها, when the earth will be shaken, okay, and the earth will give out everything that it has, and the mankind will say, what's wrong with that, the earth? On that day, the earth will speak out, because your Lord will inspire the earth to speak. On that day, the people will be scattered when they're raised from the grave to be shown their action. Whoever does atom of good shall see it, and whoever does atom of bad shall see it. طيب. Zalzala is the word to be shaken. Zilzal, earthquake, or shaken, yeah. So zilzal, one of the qira'ah, like Asim and others, said, إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زَلْزَالَهَا, with fatha of za, okay? And also with kasra as well, zilzalaha. So zilzal, my brothers, is a word in Arabic means shakes, but it's a normal shaking, very severe shaking, very powerful shake. Inna zalzalati as-sa'a shay'un 'azim, that indeed the shaking toward the end of the hour is great thing, great, very powerful. So he's talking about this shake here, we're talking about toward the last hour. The Mufassirun said, you know, when the trumpet is blown, after the first trumpet, okay, what happens? The three trumpets, sometimes two, but the most authentic of me, three trumpet. After the first trumpet, it will be shaken. And that's what Allah was talking about, zalzala, okay? The earth will be shaken, it outmost. And this zalzala is very severe. And يوم ترجف الراجفة, on that day, rajafa, يعني ارتجف الأرض, the earth will be shaken. طيب, it's toward the end of the hour. So Allah describing what's going to happen to the earth toward the end of the last hour. So the earth will be shaken, its outmost. وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها, the earth will give out everything that he has. Ibn Abbas says, one of the opinion is that amwat, the deceased, will be taken out. The deceased will be taken out from it. They will come out. Some says the dead, the treasure, everything will come out. Right? Now hadith says that, you know, when people are in the grave, okay, Allah will send rain, okay, for long time. Okay, the rain is very, very white and thick, and that will go under the earth, and then from that Allah will raise the bashar, the human being. وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَ, أَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْض, you'll take out, the earth will take out what inside him. Okay, and the ulama says this is amwat, and that's when we will come out from the earth, when we're buried. Subhanallah. So this is the reality. وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا لَهَا, the insan will say, what's wrong? So this statement is from the kuffar, because the believer will not say this. وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا لَهَا, insan will say, مَا لَهَا, what's wrong with the earth? They will be saying this out of shock, fear. They are shocked because they're seeing something never believed. They'll be shocked. What is this? What's wrong with the earth? Okay, they're saying this because they don't believe it. But the believers will say, هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون. Shaykh Shanqiti brings the Adwal Bayan. He explained this ayah, that this, what they're going to say, وقال الإنسان ما لها, is not mean, kuffar will say this. But the believer will say, هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون. This is what, okay, my Lord Ar-Rahman has promised. And the Mursalun, the messengers spoke the haq. Why are they saying this, the believers? They believe it. They believe it. They're not shocked. Because we know this is going to happen. And Allah promised that. And the messengers came and they told us about this. So we're not shocked. We understand that. But the kuffar will say, Ma laha, what's wrong with the earth? The earth was such a beautiful thing. What's happening? Okay? So they'll be saying out of shock, this kalam. طيب, this kalam. طيب. So this is what the tafsir is. يومئذ تحدث أخبارها. On that day, the earth will talk. Allah Azza wa Jal will inspire the earth to talk. You know, in the Quran, Allah said, your limbs will talk. Al-Quran, hujjatun lakum wa alaykum. Quran is evidence for you, against you. So Quran also going to speak for some people and against people. Okay? Allah says in the Quran, اقرأ كتابك كفى بنفسك اليوم عليك حسيبا. Allah will say, the ulama says, Allah the most just will give every individual, this ayah took the Muslim, non-Muslim, everyone, the book. Allah will give the book to everyone. Allah said, read your book. It is sufficient that you will be proof for yourself against you. Okay? So Allah doesn't have to judge. Read your own book. This is what my malaika has written. They haven't lied. So read your own book. You judge yourself. And the people will say, oh my Lord, there's no lie in this book. There is no lie in this book, it's all just. Okay? So the earth will speak out. What will he speak out? The earth will be inspired to say whatever happened in the earth. All the good things that happen, it will speak out. All the bad things that happen, it will speak out. The people who committed shirk, zina, murder, drank alcohol, did fawahish, the earth will say, oh my Lord, you created me, you put people on me, this is the fawahish, this is the sins they've committed. And the people who did khair, good, and the earth will speak for them. Say, oh my Lord, you created me. They did all this, these believers, they did good thing on me, on top of me. Okay, so this earth will speak, subhanallah. Like the earth, your hand, your eyes, your body, your limbs will be hujjah for us or hujjah against us. That's why, subhanallah, Ibn Qayyim, rahimahullah, he says that our body is a ni'mah. Okay? And when it comes to the body of human being, he divided certain categories, I think 3 or something. He says there are a group of people who use and abuses their body. Yani, they don't use the body in the cause of Allah. Okay, they use the limbs against the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay, the eye, the hand, whatever, the leg, the stomach, they eat and drink. They use it in the other than the path of Allah Azza wa Jal. They're totally, they're not the kuffar, and Muslims even doing it as well. So these are one type of people. Second type of people is that they use the body of Allah for the cause of Allah, and sometimes they do other than cause of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay, they might pray, don't pray. So these are the second type of people. They use in the cause of Allah sometimes, and sometimes they don't. The first is they don't at all. And the first category is the righteous, sabiqun, those who use their limbs that Allah has given them. It's only for the cause of Allah, only for the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal, seeking His pleasure, His reward. That's the highest level of the people. So because if the body is used not in the cause of Allah, it will speak out against us. The eye, the hand, everything. Okay, the hand will be speaking, the leg will be speaking. You can imagine we stand in front of Allah and the body is speaking against us. Obviously, Allah knows, but that's not only the earth going to speak, your own body will speak, your tongue will speak, your lips, your hand, everything. Billah. So that's why it is important that we worship Allah. We use our limbs to worship Allah with and seek the pleasure of Allah. So it speaks for us, not against us. يومئذ تحدث أخبارها. On that day, يومئذ, on that day, the earth will speak out. Okay, because Allah Azza wa Jal has inspired the earth to speak. طيب. So we're moving on. طيب, so the earth will speak out, and that's what we're talking about when they are raised from the grave now. They're raised from the grave and they're in the mahshar. Okay, they're raised from the grave. And then يَوْمَئِذِ يَسْتُرُ النَّاسِ. And the people, Yawm al-Qiyamah, when they're raised from the grave, they will be scattered, okay, going to the mahshar, okay, place of gathering to see their good deed, okay, um, to see their good deed. That's called hisab. The hisab will be taken. Obviously, uh, فمن ثقلت موازينه فهو في عيشة راضية وأما من خفت موازينه فأمه هاوية وما أدرك ما هي نار حامية. That as for those mizan is heavy, scale is heavy, they will be in pleasure. As for the mizan is light, okay, they will be miserable, they will be in hawiya, and this is talking about hellfire basically. So the mizan will be used to hisab, to do the hisab to the people. Okay, so they'll be scattered and they'll be running. I mean, yani and they'll go gather in the mahshar for their hisab. Now, when we come to hisab, obviously the Muslims and the munafiqun, their hisab will be taken. Their good deed and bad deed will be placed. Now the kuffar, are they going to be yuhasab al-kuffar? Are the kuffar going to be judged? Okay, there are two opinions. The first opinion is that they will not be judged. Okay, Allah said, فلا نقيم لهم يوم القيامة وزنا. Surah Kahf, Allah will, Maryam, Allah said that we will not set a balance for them. And the ayah talking about those disbelieving Allah and the signs in the ayat, فَلَا نُقِيمُ لَهُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَزْنًا. That on that day we will not set a balance for them. So they will be, doesn't matter how much good deed they have done, it will not be set a balance for them. What does it mean? There's no hisab for them. They will be taken to the hellfire. Okay? That's the evidence they use, and other evidences. And the second opinion is that they will be shown their good deed, okay, to show them they did good deed, be shown to them, but there'll be no benefit in that. They will be them reminded, okay, so they'll make iqrar of it, acknowledgement of it, okay. So I think فَلَا نُقِيمُ لَهُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَزْنًا, that's the word. There will not be even, no good deed will be balanced for them. You'll be haba'an mansura, you'll be dusted, you'll be thrown nothing, because they're not Muslim. So these are the two opinions. Now, when it comes to hisab, my brothers, hisab are two types. One is called ard. Okay, Prophet Islam read this ayah. No, Prophet said in the hadith that those who are reprimanded regarding his hisab would be punished. Man nuqisha fil hisab udhiba. That whoever is reprimanded regarding his judgment, he will be punished. Then Aisha said, O Messenger of Allah, didn't Allah say, فَسَوْفَ يُحَاسَبُ حِسَابًا يَسِيرًا? The hisab will be yasir, ease. The Prophet said, ذَلِكَ الْعَرْض. This hisab is ard. Ard is for the believers. That Allah Azza wa Jal will call a believer and he will remind him for the sins that he has committed, major sins, and he made tawbah from it, and he did not expose his sins, okay, Allah will forgive him and Allah will enter him to Jannah. Okay, that's called ard. And munaqasha, hisab al-munaqasha, the one where Allah will reprimand them, these are for non-Muslims. And could be for some Muslims as well, for the sinners. Right? And munaqasha mean that Allah will say, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Okay? Allah is questioning like this. That's what Prophet said. If someone goes through that stage, udhiba, he'll be punished. Right? So maybe he did commit major sin, Muslims committing major sins, never repented from Allah Azza wa Jal, so he's being punished. Right? So these are two types of hisab. So on the day when the people are raised, they will be taken to the mahshar. They will be scattered and they will run to the mahshar, the gathering, to see their good deed. Okay, so that's what the hadith, the ayah saying. Then it says, then the ayah says, فَمَن يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى. That whoever does atom of good deed shall see it. So dharra is, I know, atom. I don't know, maybe seed. Okay, a seed could be lesser than that. Allah Azza wa Jal, the most just, will even show you a good deed. Even that atom of good deed you have done, you'll be shown on that day. And وَمَن يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَى. That whoever done atom of bad deed shall see it. طيب? So that's why we should not underestimate any good deed or bad deed. لا تحقرن المعروف حتى ولو كان التقيت الأخاك بطلق الوجه. That do not underestimate good deed. Even if you were to look at your brother with a smile face, don't underestimate that. Okay? We study Riyadh al-Salihin. Don't underestimate small action like moving something from the road. Prophet said that has a man moving in Jannah. In Jannah, he's moving around. Okay? Because he moves something from the path. Okay? That might harm the people. We might think, what's this? Removing something. It just doesn't mean anything. But because of that, Prophet saw that man in Jannah. Okay? So do not underestimate any bad deed. Small bad good deed. Even small bad deed we shouldn't underestimate, because small bad deed can lead to major sin. طيب? So we should not underestimate any of these, inshallah. So Zalzala, Surah Al-Zalzala has virtues. Okay, it has virtues, and there are some of the hadith that the ulama have mentioned regarding Surah Al-Zalzala. If you go to tafsir of Qurtubi, Shawkani, they bring. There's a hadith of Anas radiallahu anhu. قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من قرأ زلزل عدلت له نصف القرآن. ومن قرأ قل هو الله أحد عدلت له ثلث القرآن. ومن قرأ قل يا أيها الكافرون عدلته ربع القرآن. Okay, now hadith of Anas, the Prophet said that whoever read Zalzala, okay, you get reward of reading the half of the Quran. Whoever read Qul Huwallahu Ahad will get reward of reading third of the Quran. And whoever read Qul Ya Ayyuhal Kafirun will get reward of reading fourth of the Quran. Now this hadith, a lot of ulama make it da'if. Imam al-Qurtubi, he under Zalzala, Surah Al-Zalzala, he brings that hadith, and on the bottom of the commentary, when the Shaykh made a commentary, he said that he called Shaykh al-Albani that he made it da'if, but later on he sahha al-hadith in Sunan Abi Dawood. طيب? And I'll mention some of it, inshallah, you'll enjoy this. Now we have another hadith, and Ali radiallahu anhu قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من قرأ في ليلة إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها عدلت له نصف القرآن. That Abu radiallahu anhu said, the Prophet said that whoever read in the night Surah Zalzala will get reward of reading half of the Quran. Now this hadith, lot of ulama made it da'if. A few made it sahih. Lot of ulama made it da'if. Ibn Hajar, Ibn Abdul Bar, Shaykh Albani, Imam al-Dhahabi, Imam Shawkani. He mentioned this hadith in tafsir. All of these ulama now they made it da'if. Okay, they made it da'if. So the scholars have said this hadith should not be attributed to Prophet ﷺ, but you can attribute to some of the Salaf, Athar. Okay, now I'm going to mention some of the Salaf. They actually, subhanallah, make tatbiq of that ayah, practice this ayah, this surah actually. And Musannaf ibn Abdul Razzaq, mentioned Musannaf, said that Ma'mar, he said, سمعت رجلا يحدث إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها تعدد في القرآن. So Ibn Abdul Razzaq mentioned in Musannaf, the Ma'mar, he said a man was talking about Surah Zalzala. If you read, you ought to read half of the Quran. Okay. Also Imam al-Muzani. Muzani is one of the top students of Imam Shafi'. Okay. He says that إذا زلزلت الأرض تعدل نصف القرآن. That if you read Zalzala, you get reward of reading half of the Quran. Actually, they practice this. So what we're saying, hadith is da'if, but Shaykh says that athar is sahih. Okay? You can attribute to the Salaf, some of the Salaf practiced it, but the hadith is weak. وفي رواية عن حسن البصري إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها عدلت نصف القرآن. Again, same thing Hasan al-Basri said that إذا زلزل is the reward of reading half of the Quran. طيب. Imam Suyuti in his book called Al-Itqan, he mentioned this, Hasan al-Basri one. Okay. And Asim, Imam al-Muqri, one of the Imam recited the Quran. Okay. He said, Man qara'a idha zulzilat al-ardu zilzala فكأنما قرأ نصف القرآن. That whoever reads zalzala, okay, as if he has read half of the Quran. You know, Ibn Hajar said, Rijal Thiqat. The sanad here is authentic. طيب. So, I mean, Athar are authentic. Some of the Salaf practiced it, but the hadith is weak. Hadith Abu radiallahu anhu, again, Zalzala, okay, is weak. But we can see some of the Salaf who practice regarding Zalzala. So these are some of the benefit. Inshallah, we'll continue. We're not going to finish here now. We're going to take one more chapter, one more hadith, surah of the Quran. Inshallah. طيب. Next surah, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. والعاديات ضبحا فالموريات قدحا فالمغيرات صبحا فأثرن به نقعا فوسطن به جمعا إن الإنسان لربه لكنود وإنه على ذلك لشهيد وإنه لحب الخير لشديد أفلا يعلم إذا بعثر ما في القبور وحصل ما في الصدور إن ربهم بهم يومئذ لخبير. طيب. سورة العاديات. طيب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعاديات ضبحا. Allah Azza wa Jal, my brothers, is swearing by al-Adiyat. طيب. Waw al-Qasam. Now we've mentioned that before, that when Allah Azza wa Jal swears by a creation, obviously we can't swear except by the name of Allah, it shows the significant importance of that creation. So when Allah swore by the time, wal asri, shows the importance of time. And this asri, I mean time. And obviously time is pressure. Time is when the time passes, it doesn't come back to you. If you lose 1 second, you can't get that 1 second back. 1 minute, 1 hour, whatever, you can't get that time back. Time is very precious. So Allah swore by the time. Allah swore by night and the day to show the importance of night and the day, because they play a big role in terms of with the creation. And Allah swore by the sun and the moon. So these creation are creation of Allah. And Allah swore by them because of a certain reason, because there's importance in that creation, virtue in that creation. Now, whenever Allah swore by anything, there is called qasam and jawabul qasam. So, for example, wal asr, by the time, Allah said, wal asr, by the time, innal insana lafi khusr, indeed mankind are in loss. So, whether jawabul qasam, respond to the qasam, vow, is the mankind are in loss. That's what. So we have a same principle here. وَالْعَادِيَاتِ ضَبَحًا. Allah swearing by adiyat. Adiyat is plural of ada. Okay. Now the word ada here means horse. Allah swearing by the horse. So the word وَالْعَادِيَات al-ada. The verb is ada. يعدو. Ada ya'du means to walk fast, swiftly. Okay? Very fast. And what it means here is that talking about horse that moving very fast. Okay? Khayl, very fast in jihad. Okay? Allah's praising the horse. Allah swore by the horse because of the certain virtues the horse holds. Very strong, are used in jihad, they are used in jihad, so forth and so on. So Allah talking about fast horse. Okay? That moves, goes in the mujahidun they use to fight in the path of Allah. Wal adiyat, fast horse. Some says the Ali radiallahu, this is what Ibn Abbas says. And some of the tafsir, it says that, wal-adiyat, talking about horse, some says camel, that goes in Hajj from Mina to Arafah to Muzdalifah. You know when they use the camel, okay, to move from one side to another side, that's what he's talking about. That's one of the opinions. But Jumhur says he's talking about a fast horse, swiftly moving in jihad. When the Sahaba are going to fight in the path of Allah Azza wa Jal. Wal-adiyat, swearing by the horse, Allah swearing by the horse, show the virtues of the horse. طيب. وَالْعَادِيَاتِ ضَبَحًا. ضَبَحًا is the sound he makes. You know when the horse is going very fast, I'm sure you've heard the noise that he makes. Okay, وَالْعَادِيَاتِ ضَبَحًا. So Allah describing in this surah about jihad, and then the Jawab al-Qasam will come, respond. فَالْمُورِيَاتِ قَدْحًا. When the horse, so the horse when he's running in the battlefield, okay, it creates sparks. You know when he's, I don't know if you've seen it, when the horse is going over the pedal or the pebbles, and when when they're going fast, when the pebble strikes the pebble, it creates sparks. That's what it does. Allah's talking about that. فَالْمُورِيَاتِ قَدْحًا. Okay, shows the how vicious it is, how fast it's going. طيب. فالموريات قدحا فالمغيرات صبحا. Okay, المغيرات is talking about when the believers, when the Sahabas, they go out to fight in the battle. Al-aghara yughiru. Aghara has two meanings. One from ghira, to create envy in an individual person, to create jealousy. But here means talking about attacking, going to attack land, non-Muslim land for jihad. فَالْمُغِرَاتِ صُبْحًا. So they attack the land of non-Muslim time of subha, in the morning. And the reason being is that, in the morning it is easier to attack. They are not wake and easy to get hold of them. So in the morning, فَالْمُغِرَاتِ صُبْحًا. Prophet ﷺ hadith said that whenever he went to jihad, when he wants to go and conquer a land, if he heard the adhan, he will not conquer it. He will not go in there because adhan, and this is the virtue of adhan. Subhanallah. Because of the adhan, he will not attack. He knows there's a Muslim there. He will leave it. So Prophet custom is that whenever he goes to jihad, he will go in the morning. Okay. فالمغيرات صبحا. صبح صباح. صباح الخير. صباح النور. صباح morning. Okay. فأثرن به نقعا. Okay. That naqa'a is dust. You know when the horse is going fast in the pebbles or in the and he create dust. He leaves the dust on the horse because he's going so fast. So Allah is describing the horse in jihad. فأثرن به نقعا. طيب. So talking about the horse leaves mark on his body like dust and things like that. And I'm sure you know that. Even if you're driving a car in the dust, you will make the car dirty, isn't it? That's what it's talking about. The horse has dust, ghurab, turab on the leg, on the body. And that's what happened in the jihad. فَوَسَطْنَ بِهِ جَمَعًا. Bihi, Dhamir pronouns goes to the ma'araka, goes to the battlefield where they are. فَوَسَطْنَ بِهِ جَمَعًا mean jama'a all together, the believers, okay, the Sahabas are surrounded by the mushrikun, all of them. They get surrounded. They're in the midst of jihad, in the midst of the battle. And that's how the battle is. When the battle starts, you are in the middle of the battle. Everyone is surrounded by the kuffar. Let me give you an example of Zubayr bin Awam. This is a seerah I've heard from a Shaykh. Zubayr bin Awam radiallahu anhu, obviously his son was Abdul bin Zubayr. Zubayr, they were in jihad, and they were waiting in a part of the land, and the kuffar on the other side. Okay, not far. They're there. So Zubayr bin Awam, he used to fight with two swords, and he said to the companions, "Who will give me bay'ah? We're going to go in the midst of them, fight and come out, or die as a shaheed." So a group of them gave bay'ah to him, They all went and they fought, all died except Zubayr bin Awam. He came back alive. He said, who will give me bay'ah again? We're going to go in there and we're going to fight. We come back. And if we die the shaheed. They went and they all died except Zubayr bin Awam. Third time he came, he said, who's going to give me bay'ah? We're going to go again. And they stopped. They stopped. They're not going to go. Zubayr bin Awam, he took his sword, he went to the horse, he went home, got his son Abdullah bin Zubayr, 10 years old. He went there and they described it. He started the battle from here and he fought them and he came out from the other side. This is how deep they went to fight. And this is true story. And Shaykh gave the life of Abdullah bin Zubayr. And because Abdullah bin Zubayr, in Mecca, they were saying that they were given sihr, no one can give birth to a boy. And then the daughter of Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhuma, she gave birth. She gave birth to Abdullah bin Zubayr. And that's how the story starts. And Abdullah bin Zubayr was playing with some kids, and Umar came. They all ran off, except Abdullah bin Zubayr. He stood. He said, why didn't you run? He said, why should I run? Isn't the earth big enough for you to walk? And he said, you truly son of a Zubayr. And he became like his dad. He became like his dad. And the story was about Abdullah bin Zubayr, that in the battle, now he's grown up here. He's in the battle, and he's one of the leader of a group, and the kuffar, they're waiting over there to fight them. He went by himself to the tent of the kuffar, took the head of the leader, and came out by himself without them touching him. Okay, so this is the myth. This is how deep they go. So I'm just giving an example. These are seers of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. These are scholars have mentioned. These are true stories. فَوَسَطْنَ بِهِ جَمَعًا. They become in the wasat, in the midst of the, when they're surrounded by the kuffar. So Allah talks about the jihad, the horse. He praised the horse and how the jihad took place. The qasam was wal-adiyat. Allah saw by the adiyat, a strong running horse, fast horse. Okay, showing the virtue of the horse, the Sahaba, the fighting, the path of Allah Azza wa Jal. Then He gives the qasam, jawab al-qasam. The response to the qasam is that then Allah talks about innal insana li rabbihi lakanud. Indeed, mankind to the Lord lakanud. They deny the favor of Allah. Okay, so Allah, that's the qasam, jawab al-qasam. Okay, the respond. After all this, they deny the favor of Allah, they deny the name of Allah Azza wa Jal. They are not shakir to Allah Azza wa Jal. We spoke about shakir, that shukr is to believe in the heart and ni'mah, to recognize it, to speak about it, and to practice the shukr in your limbs. Okay, and in the Quran Allah said, i'malu ala Dawood shukra. You know the grammar here. Practice, do righteous action, worship me, O family of Dawood, shukra, to show the gratitude to Allah Azza wa Jal. So here, i'malu is a command from Allah Azza wa Jal. You have to worship me. You have to act. Follow the good deed. Do the good deed. Shukra, you know what it is? Maf'ul li ajli. Because of. So because of gratitude, you have to worship me. So if you're gratitude to Allah, if you're shakir to Allah, then worship me. Okay? So someone doesn't worship Allah, it's not shakir. Okay? It's not, you can say, I'm gratitude to Allah Azza wa Jal, but your limbs should be practicing, your limbs should be worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal. If you're not, then you're not shakir. If your limbs doesn't worship Allah, how are you shakir to Allah Azza wa Jal? So shukr, gratitude, the way the Salaf understood, the way Quran and Sunnah teaches us is that action comes from the shukr. It's not just uttering with your tongue, I'm gratitude to Allah Azza wa Jal, I'm thankful to Allah Azza wa Jal, but you don't worship Allah, you're not shakir, you're not thankful to Allah. Allah said, i'malu ala Dawood shukra. Worship me, from Dawood, to show your shukr to me, gratitude to me. So shukra, maf'ul li ajli. It's because of that you worship me. Because if you're shakir, then worship me. Also hadith of Aisha, you know, hadith of Prophet when he was to worship Allah so long, and his leg would become swallowed up. And what happened is that Aisha would say, Ya Rasulullah, Allah forgave all your sins. He forgave all your sins, past and future. Even now, all sins are forgiven. How come you worship Allah so much? What did he say? Jazakillah khair? I don't know. No, he said, Afala akun abdan shakura. Shouldn't I be thankful servant of Allah? So how did he show this shukur? Amal, ibadah. طيب. So here we learn that indeed mankind have become kunud. Kunud means ungrateful to Allah, denying His favors, His ni'mah. Okay, so became uh, slave of the wealth, slave of the dunya, running after dunya, not fighting in the path of Allah. And fighting doesn't mean have to battle, but not seeking knowledge, worshipping Allah, practicing the deen, giving da'wah. They don't do that. They're after dunya, they're after the mal. وَتُحِبُّونَ الْمَالَ حُبًّا جَمًّا. And you love the wealth so much. Okay? The love of wealth has made you forget Allah. Okay, you become slave of the wealth, the currencies. يَيْئِسْ Abdul Dinar wa Dirham, the hadith we studied Kitab al-Tawheed. Sorrow for such people who become slave of the currencies. Subhanallah. So Allah's talking about now, second part of the surah, they become, they deny the favor of Allah. They don't worship Allah Azza wa Jal. Kunud mean to deny, juhud, the favor of Allah Azza wa Jal. وَإِنَّهُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ لَشَهِيدٌ. And indeed, upon that they will testify, meaning, Yawm al-Qiyamah, they will testify, they will see that they were ungrateful to Allah, they do not worship Allah, they will testify their own arrogancy, and they will disobedience to Allah Azza wa Jal. وَإِنَّهُ لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ لَشَدِيدٌ. Talking about wealth. They have so much love for the wealth. Okay? They're distracted by the wealth, as the Salaf said. Because of the severe love for the wealth and the dunya, they forget Allah Azza wa Jal. Yadu billah. Look, people are destroyed because of the wealth, for the status and things like that. Okay? Like, man batta amalu lam yusri' bi nasabahu. That whoever can worship Allah, his wealth, his lineage will not make him worship Allah Azza wa Jal. Subhanallah. So it's talking about now about the people, how they turn away from Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? أَفَلَا يَعْلَمُ إِذَا بُعْثِرَ مَا فِي الْقُبُورِ. So now, that is a lesson for us. Don't they know that they will be raised from the grave one day? They'll be raised from the grave. So all this wealth you're accumulating, what are you going to take with you? What are you going to take with you? يَتْبَعُ الْمَيِّتَ ثَلَاثَةً مَالُهُ عَمَلُهُ أَهْلُهُ ويرجي عمله أهله ماله ويبقى ما هو عمله. طيب, that when someone dies, three things follow him: his wealth, his family, and his action. Two things come back: his family and his wealth comes back. What stays with him is action, good or bad, will stay with him. So what remains with you is action. Some of the report the Salaf says that you know stories like when they go to the maqbara and they see person is buried, and they bury the person and they leave. So they just sit there and they look at the grave, look at the person being buried. Who stayed with him? Nothing. His wife, children, his mom and dad, brothers, sisters, friends, everyone left him. They just left. He's by himself in the grave. So he says, they say, now, from now on, I'm going to be friend of good deed. I'm going to make my good deed my best friend. I'm going to do good deed. That will stay with me. When we're in the grave, subhanallah, it's severe, it's serious, because we obviously we don't know, that your good deed comes in the form of a man, bright, glowing, and then you say, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm your good deed. I'm your good deed. All this good deed that you have done, this is me. I'm here standing in front of you. Allah sent me in the form of a man to congratulate you. Relax, enjoy." If you're a sinner, if a person is a sinner, fasiq, I'm not talking about Muslim, Muslim is fasiq, okay, yadu billah, or even kuffar as well, his bad deed will come in the form of a what? Black, ugly. And the person will say, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm your bad deed. All the bad deed that you've done, this is me. I'm here now." take the punishment. Subhanallah, can you imagine, akhi? Your action comes in a form of what you create your action, bright or dark. We create our own action. If we make the choice, not Allah. So if we're going to do good deed, we'll receive the good, receive the bushra, glad tidings. If we do bad deed, then the bad deed will receive the bad news. So the person in the grave, that's what he's going to see. And don't, so Allah giving, it's a lesson, don't do not question from the grave, Yawm al-Qiyamah. So they're in the mahshar now. They're raised. They're waiting. They don't know what's going to happen. Subhanallah. And we know the story, Yawm al-Qiyamah, the people will be drowning in their own sweat, depending on their sins. وَحُصِّلَ مَا فِي الصُّدُورِ. Whatever in their heart will be taken out. Allah will know that what is hidden in their heart will be exposed. إِنَّ رَبَّهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ لَخَبِيرٌ. On that day, your Lord is aware of them. So, my brothers, this is Tafsir Surah al-Adiyat, very brief. I mean, Tafsir is there. So, this is a lesson to be taken. What we learn to be righteous. We learn to worship Allah Azza wa Jal. We learn to be, someone who shows gratitude to Allah Azza wa Jal through worship. And we glorify Allah, and we talk about the ni'mah that Allah has given us. And the biggest ni'mah is al-Islam. And we also strive outmost to learn the deen and do juhud, mujahada. We strive to spread the da'wah in the path of Allah Azza wa Jal. So that's Surah al-Adiyat, inshaAllah. Next week, we'll talk about Al-Qari'ah. Shaykh bin Baz has mentioned some of the nice surahs. We have to discuss about them, inshaAllah. So we leave this today, inshaAllah. Let's start with the Salihin.